Cold as ice. He was unbelievable last night, Cole Palmer. This is The Social here on talkSPORT 2 with me, Olly Clink, alongside Rory Jennings. Rory, you were slightly blasé, weren't you, about this win? But it was a fantastic win for Chelsea, and Cole Palmer was absolutely sensational. We'll get into some of the other things that happened in the game in just a moment. But just firstly, on him, where would Chelsea be without him? Just to kind of sum that up quickly, I saw a stat earlier saying that just his goals, not even his 9 assists, but just his goals this season, which is 20, which is level with Erling Haaland, by the way, have earned Chelsea 16 points.
Yeah,
in the league. It's absolutely astonishing.
Which is a huge percentage of our overall points tally, of course.
Yeah.
So no, it's an unbelievable signing. Like I don't want to go too extreme with it, but just in terms of what it means to us, I think it's one of those significant signings that will be spoken about for years to come. You know, in the way that maybe that, say, Wayne Rooney signed for Manchester United, and it changed not only the trajectory of Manchester United, but the trajectory of kind of football in the country. It was a massive signing for Manchester United. He went on to become both England and Manchester United's top ever goal scorer.
You're saying Palmer's at that level for Chelsea in terms of a signing, as Wayne Rooney for Manchester United?
What I'm saying is, the situation that Chelsea find ourselves in at the moment, we are threadbare. We are struggling. We have signed countless players, like dozens of players, all of whom have been fairly uninspiring, and that's the kindest way that I can put it. The vast majority, I would say, are not good enough to play for Chelsea. Some are not good enough to play in the Premier League, and we spent an awful lot of money on them. What we've also managed to do is, by hook or by crook, unearth an absolute gem. And we got very lucky with this, because I remember the wording around signing Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer was most certainly not Chelsea's first choice. You know, I think Chelsea were trying to get Emile Smith-Rowe, which is clearly a bullet dodged. We were trying to get Michael Elise, who for one reason or another, probably fairly wisely, turned us down. And at the time, we kind of ended up with Cole Palmer.
Who had, and to be fair, who hadn't scored a league goal.
Hadn't scored a league goal.
And now finds himself as the top scorer this season.
The class was always there, and it's very difficult to ever say that Pep Guardiola has made a mistake. It's very difficult for us mere mortals sitting in a rather beautiful.
Is that fair?
To say that Pep Guardiola made a mistake? He absolutely made a mistake. The reason why there is a title race this year is because Pep Guardiola's transfer dealings have been poor. He's been poor. You know, signing Mateus Nunes was a poor signing. Signing Mateo Kovacic. It's not about how good you think Kovacic is. The facts of the matter are, Kovacic isn't fit to lace Ilkay Gundogan's boots, who he replaced. Allowing Cole Palmer to leave.
They're still on for a treble, and you're saying that's made it a title race rather than
it's made it a title race, but because of the brilliance of City, they're always going to be there or thereabouts. Yeah. My theory on this is, Riyad Mahrez left. Had Cole Palmer still been at Manchester United, they would be champions by now.
Really?
Genuinely. They've brought in Doku and let Palmer leave.
Yeah.
Like that is the most clear definition of a downgrade. Cole Palmer, in terms of watching him play football, he is silk, isn't he?
He is. He's so fluid.
He has that grace, that elegance.
That nutmeg before the first goal.
Disgusting. It's disgusting.
Beautiful to watch. Just on that as well, I mean, I have to say, I was watching the game last night, and as an England fan getting so excited, I saw some people still debating whether he should be on the plane. That's not even a conversation. Not even a conversation. The conversation now, Rory, is whether he should start for England. Now,
do you know what it's going to be in the future? It's going to be a really uncomfortable conversation for Bukayo Saka fairly soon.
Do you know what? I think you're bang on. And even the thing about Palmer as well is he does prefer that right-hand side, doesn't he? But what we've seen is he can play across that whole line. He's so adaptable in that sense. One thing I might put to you here is Phil Foden, sensational season for Manchester City. But in recent England performances, let's be fair, hasn't quite been there. But you can't drop Foden for Palmer?
No. You can accommodate. Can I just? I think it's really important when we have this.
All right, let's park that then. Would you start Palmer for England in the summer?
Yes.
For who?
You make it work. What needs?
But who drops out? That's what I mean.
No, I think there's a world where you can make this work. I really do. I think the important thing when we have this debate is to make sure that we frame it through the lens of privilege. This is an amazing situation. Yeah. This isn't a problem. You know, when people go, God, isn't it a problem trying to get Lampard and Gerrard in the same team? I'm like, what? The two geezers that finished second and third in the Ballon d'Or for Ronaldinho, it's not a problem. It's
the best
a gift.
Headache of all time.
It's not a headache.
Yeah.
It's a headache in the way having too much money for your wallet is. You know, your wallet don't fit your 50s.
Yeah.
It's not a problem.
Yeah. I've never had that problem.
No, me neither. No, so I hear. But But no, this isn't a problem. This is a gift for Gareth Southgate, and he needs to get it right. Like in a really easy way. I think what you have to do is pick the best players that can win you a tournament. And I think Cole Palmer, the season that he's had, the mercurial player that he is, the dazzling output from him. As we build up to a season, it almost as we build up to a tournament in Germany, it just feels. You know how you had to take Michael Owen.
Who does he come into the side for?
So I think the very easy thing to do would be to ask Jude Bellingham to play slightly deeper, to play Phil Foden as a 10, to play Cole Palmer in Jack Grealish's position.
On the left.
Cole Palmer plays in Jack Grealish's position because Bukayo Saka is still the right person for the job at the moment. But if Bukayo Saka keeps putting in the performances that he's putting in, if both players continue on the same trajectory, Palmer and Saka, Saka's dropped within a year. That's fact. Like, Saka is dropped within a year. Because Cole Palmer, doing the business for an Arsenal team that are riding high, playing really well. You've got a manager that weirdly they seem very happy with. You've got players that some of them are elite. It's a far easier task being good for a team like that than it is being good for a Chelsea team that are, let's face it, in disarray.
Yeah.
We are a club that are lacking an identity.
He's literally carrying them.
He's literally carrying a club the size of Chelsea on his back. And when people say, could he do it in the bigger games then? Like, do we know that he can... hang on a minute. That geezer that we're discussing here has won Manchester City a European trophy this year. He's scored against Arsenal at Wembley in the Charity Shield this year.
I think that's what I love the most about him, though, and that's why I think that he should have such an involvement in the Euros, is that this is a guy who is so unafraid of the big occasion as well. It's not just that he's turning up and battering Burnley and scoring against Sheffield United or whoever it is.
Yeah, arrogance is very important.
Exactly.
And confidence.
And confidence. Yeah. And we see that, even with the way that he's taken on the responsibility of taking penalties.
Last-minute penalty against Man City.
Exactly. Last-minute goal against Manchester United.
Did you hear the conversation that he had about potentially missing a penalty? Did you hear how he reacted to the suggestion that one day you miss a penalty? He basically just goes like this. Mate, I'm obviously not going to miss a penalty, am I? He said it as if it was like somewhat like as if it was the most strange concept in the world. What? Yeah. Hang on, you think some people would actually miss a penalty?
Yeah.
I'm never going to miss. Yeah, he couldn't believe that it was even a thing.
Love him. That's such an amazing attitude. But talking of penalties, we have to move on to this, don't we? Because when Chelsea won that penalty at 3-0 up, I think it was a chance for Cole Palmer to get his fourth goal of the night. But Noni Madueke wanted to take it, so did Nicholas Jackson, and there was a bit of a scuffle, wasn't there? Just before I get your views on this, let's hear from Mauricio Pochettino, who had his say on it after the game.
The player knows, the staff know, the club know that the taker on penalties is Cole Palmer. All that happened after is a shame. I am so upset about the situation. We were talking on the dressing room about the image that we sent because it's Monday night, football. And I said, in every single country they were watching the game, and we cannot send this type of image. It's a shame. I want to apologize to football people and our fans because that is unacceptable. And the discipline is the most important thing on the team. That is a collective sport. That, of course, player need to show that they, and the offensive player that, they have the hungry to score goals and everything. But I think this type of situation, I'm going to take, a decision if that happen. We were talking in a very good way because I think we need to make clear the situation, but I'm not going to accept again this type of behavior.
I mean, Rory, literally like school children, he had to keep them after the game and tell them off for how they were behaving. What did you make of it?
Well, I think firstly it's quite interesting in that because what I thought hadn't happened, I thought that Mauricio Pochettino hadn't designated his penalty taker. There was a suggestion earlier in the season that he quite liked it to be fluid and whoever kind of fancied it took it. And I don't see the benefit to that. I concede that there probably is one, but I don't like that. It's not the way that I would want these things. I would like it all hammered out, set in stone before you kick a ball. But he said that it is set in stone and we do have a penalty taker, which means that
surely it's because of Palmer's penalty record. After a while, you can't not give him the penalty.
I agree, and also players have had a go and missed. Raheem Sterling, there have been missed penalties in that period as well. So no, it should obviously be him. What I would say is having this recalcitrant dressing room is troubling because it means that the players aren't listening to Pochettino. So Pochettino is saying that actually we do have a penalty taker, and you're like, well, the players, either weren't privy to that information or they don't care that they were privy to that information. Either way here is poor, because it means the communication has broken down or the respect has broken down. So I think that is really poor. The other thing that I think it does reveal, which I think is terrible, a terrible indicator as to what life must be like at Chelsea. The players, Madueke and whatever, fairly insignificant, inconsequential. Madueke will finish his career as a fairly inconsequential Premier League player, I think.
Yeah.
He is trying, in that moment, to actually rob Cole Palmer, his teammate, someone who he should be loving and helping to thrive. He is trying to rob him of something incredibly significant. So Cole Palmer has the chance, and I actually think he might do it, of finishing top goal scorer.
I mean, he's level with Haaland right now.
He's level with Haaland. And, Haaland's profligate, man. Like, Cole Palmer isn't. Cole Palmer is a better finisher than Haaland. I know that sounds ridiculous, but it's true. He doesn't get as many chances. He might not be as ruthless as a goal scorer. But in terms of, finishing, he is a better finisher than Haaland.
Do you know what? I can't disagree with that.
No, it's true. Yeah. It's true. If Cole Palmer gets it right, he could easily do it. And Noni Madueke should want that.
Yeah.
But he actually doesn't. He wants his own goal scoring. If he wants to score a goal so badly.
Yeah, exactly. But
pick up the ball and nutmeg someone like Palmer did in the first half. Or score from the halfway line with your weaker foot like Palmer did.
This is the thing. Even if you get that goal on your stats record for the season and it bolsters your own, your own stats up, everyone knows that was a charity penalty when you were falling up.
I don't think it matters. I'd agree with you, but I remember Arsenal gave one to Kai Havertz and it didn't matter. Ultimately, you get your goal scoring bonus, don't you? You get your goal scoring bonus. You finish the season.
I was thinking that. I was like, his goal scoring bonus must be through the roof.
$15,000 for him. Yeah.
Right, I'm going to be devil's advocate on this for 1 second, because I saw a clip earlier on Twitter of Michael Ballack and Didier Drogba arguing over a penalty, and I think there was someone else involved as well, a pretty elite Chelsea team back in the day. Is there any argument to say that hunger for players to want to score, to get on the score sheet, is a good thing?
No.
Or is it just pure petulance?
No, it's pure petulance, because also, this example that you're referring to, I'd need to know the specifics. Like, at that particular time, in that particular match, when those two were playing together, maybe Frank Lampard, who was the penalty taker, was off. I don't know. I'm making this up, by the way. I'm just trying to find a scenario. Frank Lampard, Chelsea's penalty taker, was substituted. Very rare occasion, but it may have happened. Those two are on the pitch, they both want the penalty. That's completely fine. If Cole Palmer wasn't on the pitch and Jackson and Madueke decided to have a punch-up over the penalty, that's cool. But the geezer's here, the main man is here.
Yeah.
So, step aside.
Also, I thought Conor Gallagher was good, ripping the ball off him and saying no.
Did you see Cole Palmer give quite a shove to Nicholas Jackson, which I thought was good as well.
Yeah.
But
come on, though, it wasn't Bowyer Dyer, was it?
No, it wasn't. No. But in the modern day, mate, it's all gone wrong.
You said a punch up just then as well.
But it's all gone wrong. You know where I realise that we're never going to get those beautiful scenes of Batty versus Lasso ever again. When James Maddison and what's the boy Neil Maupay had a row, and they kind of took it outside, and you're like, this is going to go.
Yeah.
They took it to Instagram. That was the modern day. Take it outside. Oh, you don't score enough goals to have your own celebration.
Oh,
yeah. Well, I'm living rent free in your brain. Like, you two, man. Put your Barbies
Vinnie
down.
Jones looking at that.
Yeah.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app, and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.